They told you to be humble, but what they really meant was, be quiet. They said be graceful, but what they wanted was for you to shrink. Shrink your voice, your presence, your ambition, so that others could feel comfortable around you. But let me ask you something. Why should anyone's comfort require your invisibility? Every time you silence your opinion in a meeting because you're afraid of sounding too assertive, you shrink. Every time you hold back your big idea because you worry they'll say you're trying too hard, you shrink. Every time you dumb yourself down so that someone else doesn't feel small next to your brilliance, you're doing yourself a disservice. The world doesn't benefit when you play small, it benefits when you show up fully, completely, and unapologetically. We are conditioned, especially as women, especially in cultures where tradition is mistaken for limitation, to take up as little space as possible, physically, emotionally, intellectually. Don't speak unless you're spoken to. Don't be so opinionated. Don't outshine others. But what if you were born to shine? What if your voice, your vision, your presence is meant to expand, not shrink? Why should anyone else's insecurities dictate how far you rise? You were not made to fit into tight spaces. You were not designed to dim your light so that someone else can glow. You were born to occupy rooms with power, to challenge stale energy, to shift conversations, to elevate standards. But you can't do any of that if you keep folding yourself in half just to fit into someone else's version of acceptable. There's a dangerous myth out there that if you're too much, you'll be alone, that ambition will isolate you. That strength makes you intimidating, but here's the truth. The right people are not afraid of your fire. They will not ask you to tone it down. They'll bring fuel, they'll cheer louder. They'll celebrate your growth without feeling smaller. The wrong people, let them go. Your light will expose what they're hiding, and that's not your burden to carry. I've walked into rooms where I could feel the discomfort before I even said a word, where people already decided who I should be, what I should say, how I should behave. They expected me to be grateful for just being there, as if I needed permission to exist at the table. But I didn't come to blend in. I came to break patterns, to bring ideas that make people pause. And if my presence makes the room feel a little tighter, maybe the room was never built with people like me in mind. So I stopped apologizing. I stopped rounding off my edges to fit into perfectly polished molds. I stopped waiting for permission to speak, to lead, to dream. I stopped making myself small to make others comfortable, and you should too, because the truth is, you are not too loud. You are just louder than their expectations. You are not too intense, you just have depth they haven't dared explore. You are not too driven, you just refuse to let mediocrity be your ceiling. And if that makes someone uncomfortable, let them adjust. The rooms that can't handle your truth are not the rooms that deserve your magic. Walk out if you must, and if you can't walk out, speak up, own your place, stretch out, sit tall, share your ideas, correct the false narratives. Challenge the outdated assumptions, take up space, because shrinking has never been a path to greatness. When you take up space, you do something radical. You give others permission to do the same, you become the example. You become the woman who owns the room, not just fills it. You become the one they talk about after the meeting, not because you wore the right thing, but because you said the thing no one else had the courage to say. Don't be afraid of being remembered. Be afraid of being forgettable. You weren't born to live in the shadows of other people's comfort. You were born to build your own light source, one that doesn't flicker when challenged, one that doesn't dim when judged. So the next time you feel yourself shrinking, pause, breathe, remember who you are, and then expand. Speak the idea, share the opinion, raise the standard, break the ceiling. Redefine the room. You don't need to fit into rooms that were never built for someone with your light. You need to build bigger rooms and fill them with people who expand with you, not shrink you. Because playing small doesn't serve anyone, but standing tall, that changes everything. Somewhere along the way, the word ambition got twisted, especially when it's used to describe a woman. When a man is ambitious, he's called a go-getter, a leader, a visionary. When a woman is ambitious, she's labeled difficult, aggressive, arrogant, even selfish. It's almost as if we're told to be driven, but not too driven, to want success, but not at the expense of making anyone uncomfortable, to reach for more, but only if we do it with a smile and don't rock the boat. But here's the truth. Asterisk asterisk ambition is not a dirty word asterisk asterisk. It's a declaration. Ambition is not something to hide or apologize for. It is not something to soften or disguise in politeness. Ambition is powerful. It is the fire in your gut that refuses to let you settle. It is the voice in your head that says, "There's more for me than this." It is the relentless pull toward your potential. And yet, society has taught many of us to whisper it, to dress it up, to dilute it, especially if we're afraid of being seen as too much. Well, here's what I've learned. Being too much is exactly what moves the world forward. I've been called ambitious like it's an insult, and I've learned to wear it like armor, because every label someone tries to stick on you is more about them than it is about you. People get uncomfortable when you step out of the box they built for you. When you want more than they expected, when you reach beyond what they think you deserve. But that's not your problem to solve. Your only job is to stay true to your vision, even when it makes others uncomfortable. Let's stop pretending that ambition is a betrayal of our character. Wanting more doesn't make you greedy. It makes you alive, wanting to grow, to achieve, to stretch beyond limits. That's not arrogance. That's purpose. That's clarity. That's hunger, and hunger is not a weakness. It's a sign that you believe in the feast life has to offer. Ambition has been dressed up as something dangerous. They say it turns people cold or calculating. But ambition isn't the enemy. It's what you do with it that matters. When ambition is rooted in ego, yes, it becomes about power. But when ambition is rooted in purpose, it becomes about impact. It becomes about lifting others as you climb. It becomes about making space for voices that are often silenced. It becomes about rewriting rules not just for you, but for everyone watching you. You have the right to want a big life. You have the right to dream past the borders of where you came from. You have the right to want the corner office, the global stage, the spotlight, the mic, the legacy. Wanting those things doesn't make you selfish. It makes you a builder, a creator, a force, because the truth is, ambition is what has always changed the world. It's what built empires, launched revolutions, discovered cures, and lifted voices. Ambition is what fuels innovation, what powers progress, what pushes society forward. So when they tell you you're too ambitious, smile. Thank them, because what they're really saying is, you dream bigger than I do. Let that be your power, not your shame. Let that be your sign that you're on the right path. Let it fuel you not to prove them wrong, but to prove to yourself that you were never asking for too much. You were asking for exactly what you deserve. We've spent too long being told to dim our light to make others comfortable. We've been told that nice girls don't ask for raises, that humble people don't promote themselves, that driven women are too intense. But you don't owe anyone your silence. You don't owe anyone your stillness. You don't owe anyone your invisibility. You owe yourself the chance to live fully, fiercely, and out loud. You want to write a book, do it. Want to lead a company, go. Want to walk into a room and own it. You already can. Want to be a mother and a CEO and a boss and a dreamer and a student all at once. Who says you can't? You are allowed to want it all. And you don't need to apologize for it. Ambition doesn't make you hard. It makes you honest. It means you see possibility where others see limits. It means you refuse to shrink to fit into outdated molds. It means you're not waiting for life to hand you anything. You're out there building it brick by brick, day by day, breath by breath. So the next time you feel that tug, that deep, unshakable desire to rise, don't silence it, don't shame it, don't hide it, feed it, fuel it, trust it. That ambition is your compass. Let it lead, let it roar. Let it burn so brightly that no one ever questions again whether ambition belongs to you. It does, and it always has. Being misunderstood is one of the most frustrating parts of growth. You speak your truth and they twist it. You make a bold move and they question your motives. You take a different path and they label you rebellious, ungrateful, arrogant, even delusional. But here's what they don't tell you enough. Being misunderstood is not a sign you're doing something wrong. It's often the clearest sign you're finally doing something right. You weren't meant to be understood by everyone. Not if you're building something different, not if you're daring to think beyond what's been done before, not if your dreams scare people who have settled into comfort. You will confuse those who expect you to play small. You will offend those who count on your silence. You will unsettle those who benefit from you being predictable. And that discomfort they feel, that's not your burden. That's a reflection of their limitations, not yours. When you decide to step outside the norm, you automatically invite misunderstanding. The world is used to templates, formulas, and boxes. People get nervous when you color outside the lines. They want your growth to make sense to them, and when it doesn't, they'll try to explain it in ways that fit their story. They'll say you've changed, that you're difficult, that you're not who you used to be. But isn't that the point? You're not supposed to be who you used to be. You're evolving. You're shedding layers that no longer serve you. Think about the ones we admire most, those who left an impact. They were all misunderstood at some point. Trailblazers are rarely embraced when they begin. Visionaries don't fit into current conversations. They create new ones. People laughed at those who had unrealistic dreams. They mocked the ones who moved differently, loved differently, spoke differently. But in time, the very things they were criticized for became the reasons they were celebrated. That's the cycle. At first, they doubt you, then they dismiss you, and one day they try to be you. So if you're being misunderstood, it might mean you're not conforming anymore. And that's a powerful place to be, because it takes courage to be the first, to say what no one else will say, to do what hasn't been done, to chase something others can't even see. You're writing your own script, and of course, people used to old narratives won't get it. That doesn't mean you stop. It means you keep going even louder. There will be moments when it stings, when people you thought were for you question your intentions, when your silence is taken as arrogance. When your confidence is mistaken for ego, you will want to explain yourself, to clarify your heart, to make it make sense, and sometimes you should. Clarity is kindness, but other times the most powerful thing you can do is say nothing. Let your work speak, let your growth speak, let time be your witness. Your job is not to be understood by everyone. Your job is to be aligned with your own truth. You're not here to fit perfectly into everyone's narrative. You're here to create your own, even if it's messy, even if it's noisy, even if they don't get it. Especially then, because you don't owe anyone the version of you that makes them feel comfortable. You owe yourself the version of you that makes you feel alive. There is freedom in being misunderstood. It means you've stopped editing yourself for mass approval. It means yourself. Worth isn't held hostage by public opinion. It means you are no longer performing. You're just being. And that level of authenticity, it shakes people. Because once you stop needing their applause, they lose the control they never should have had in the first place. Let them misunderstand your ambition. Let them misread your silence. Let them question your path. What they think you are is not who you are and who you are becoming. That's something they haven't even imagined yet. If everyone gets you, you're probably playing it too safe. If no one is uncomfortable around your growth, maybe you're still holding back. If your dreams don't confuse a few people, they might not be big enough. Greatness and misunderstanding often walk side by side. It's part of the process. The more you rise, the more you'll be misread. That's not a setback, that's confirmation. So don't shrink yourself into simplicity just to be more digestible. Don't dilute your vision to make it less threatening. Don't explain every move just to be accepted. Be misunderstood and keep moving. Let them wrestle with your brilliance. Let them talk. Let them guess. Let them wonder. Because while they're busy trying to figure you out, you're building, evolving, becoming. And one day, when the dust settles and your work stands tall, they'll look back and realize you weren't being difficult. You were being *different*. You weren't trying to be better than anyone. You were trying to be better than who you were yesterday. And that's always worth being misunderstood for. There comes a moment in your life when you realize that waiting for someone to hand you an opportunity is just another way of delaying your destiny. That moment, when you stop begging for approval, for a seat, for a chance, is when you start building. And that's when everything changes. Asterisk, asterisk, build, don't beg, asterisk, asterisk, isn't just a mindset. It's a way of reclaiming your power. It's the shift from being chosen to choosing yourself. We've all been there, sitting across from someone, pitching ourselves like a product, hoping they'll see our worth, hoping they'll say yes, hoping they'll open the door we've been staring at for so long. And when they don't, we take it personally. We shrink. We start believing we weren't enough. But here's what nobody tells you. Sometimes rejection is redirection. Sometimes a closed door is the universe saying, "Why are you still knocking? Go build your own." The truth is, begging for chances will never feel as good as building your own stage. When you beg, you hand over your power. You give someone else the pen to write your story. You wait on the sidelines for a moment that may never come. But when you build, you're in motion. You're not waiting. You're creating. You're shaping your path with your own two hands, no permission needed. And building doesn't always look glamorous at first. It's lonely, it's messy, it's uncomfortable. People may not understand what you're doing. They might laugh, they might doubt, they might talk behind your back. But the beautiful thing about building is this: you don't need everyone to get it. You just need to keep going, because your vision is your responsibility, not theirs. Stop asking to be seen. Be so good they can't ignore you. Stop begging for validation. Know your worth and let that confidence be the currency you move with. Stop pleading to be let in. Build something so powerful that they start asking how they can get in. That's what happens when you build. The energy shifts. Suddenly you're not waiting on the world. The world starts watching you. Think of the greatest innovators, leaders, artists, and change makers. They didn't wait for someone to discover them. They didn't water down their ideas to fit into someone else's mold. They built, they created, they bet on themselves when no one else did. They showed up every single day, even when no one was clapping yet. And eventually, the world caught up. You don't need fancy connections or a perfect background to build something great. You need hunger. You need discipline. You need the courage to start without knowing exactly how it will all come together. You need to stop waiting for permission and start acting like the opportunity already belongs to you. Begging says, "Please pick me." Building says, "I pick myself." When you build, you stop measuring your value by someone else's acceptance. You stop playing small to fit into spaces that were never designed for your power. You stop waiting to be discovered and start making yourself undeniable. And that's where real freedom lies. You'll notice something magical when you stop begging. Your standards rise. You no longer settle for crumbs when you know you can bake your own bread. You stop chasing people, companies, situations that can't even handle your potential. You realize you are the source, the spark, the one who can make it happen. And building doesn't just mean starting a company or creating a brand. It can be anything: building your skills, building your confidence, building your community, building your voice. Every step you take toward creating something for yourself, without waiting to be chosen, is an act of power, a declaration that you are enough. People will tell you to be patient, to wait your turn, but here's the truth. Some of us weren't born to wait in line. Some of us were born to build our own path. Some of us were meant to disrupt the system, not sit quietly within it. So don't let the fear of being too bold stop you. Don't let the idea that you have to wait your turn keep you from starting. Start now, start scared, start small, but start. Don't beg for someone to fund your dream. Build it with what you have. Don't beg to be heard. Speak your truth even if your voice shakes. Don't beg for love, for support, for attention. Show up for yourself so fully that anything less becomes unacceptable. And yes, building takes longer, it's harder, it requires sacrifice, but it's worth it, because when you build, you own what you create. No one can take it from you. No one can rewrite your story. You are the foundation. You are the architect. You are the force behind every brick. So stop begging. Start building. Start claiming your space in this world, not because someone allowed you to, but because you decided you were never going to wait again. Build like your future depends on it, because it does. Your ambition is not a momentary spark. It's not a one-time flash in the dark that burns bright and disappears. It's not something that should only be seen when you're desperate, or when you need to prove a point, or when you're trying to get noticed. Your ambition is not a flare, it is a lighthouse, a constant, a guide, a symbol of where you're going and why you refuse to stop until you get there. A flare is thrown when you're in crisis, when you need to be rescued, when you're screaming for help, when you feel like you're drowning. It's dramatic, it's loud, and it fades quickly, but a lighthouse doesn't panic. It doesn't beg to be seen, it stands tall, it stands firm, it shines no matter what, in the storm, in the calm, in the silence. It stays lit. That's what real ambition looks like. It doesn't flicker only when eyes are on you. It doesn't shine only when it's easy. It is steady, it is focused, it is unwavering. True ambition is not performative. It's not about showing off success, it's about doing the work no one sees. It's about waking up early when no one's watching. It's about staying late because your purpose won't let you sleep. It's about being consistent when the applause fades, when the spotlight moves on, when no one's validating your grind. That's the difference between ambition as a flare and ambition as a lighthouse. One says, "Look at me," the other says, "Follow me." The world will try to tell you that ambition should be loud and explosive to be meaningful, that you have to constantly declare your goals to be taken seriously, but real ambition doesn't need a stage. It doesn't demand attention. It simply lives within you like a quiet fire that never dies out. It's not for the crowd, it's for your soul. And sometimes your lighthouse will stand in isolation. You'll feel like you're the only one holding the vision, the only one walking the path, the only one who believes in what you're building. That can be lonely, but remember, lighthouses are built to withstand the solitude. They are built to endure, even when the waves crash, even when the skies darken, even when no one is nearby, they still shine. Your ambition should be the same, independent of praise, independent of outcomes. Independent of how long it takes, because ambition rooted in ego will burn out, it will chase trends, it will crash the moment it isn't fed by external recognition, but ambition rooted in purpose, that's the kind that changes lives. That's the kind that lights up coastlines and helps others find their way. When you are driven by something deeper than applause, you become unstoppable. You become someone who doesn't just rise, but lifts others along the way. Think about what a lighthouse does. It doesn't run around trying to be in every direction. It stays grounded, and still it leads, it guides, it protects, it inspires. That's what your ambition should do, not just serve you, but serve something greater. Your vision isn't just about you, it's about what you're building for those who come after you. Your drive isn't selfish, it's necessary, because the more you stay lit, the more you help others believe in the possibility of their own path. There will be moments when people don't understand your ambition. They'll think you're being extra. They'll call you too much. They'll ask you to tone it down, but that's only because they've never seen someone shine without apology. They've never met someone who didn't dim themselves for the comfort of others. And if you keep showing up with that quiet power, with that consistent focus, with that lighthouse energy, they won't have a choice but to respect it. You don't need to convince anyone of your worth. You don't need to throw flares for attention. You just need to keep showing up for the vision that chose you, the vision that wakes you up at night, the dream that doesn't leave even when everything around you feels uncertain. That's your lighthouse, and no matter how far away the shore might feel, if you keep following that light, you'll find your way. Let your ambition be something that endures, something that burns slow and steady, something that speaks through action, not noise. Let it be the kind of fire that doesn't need to scream to be felt. Let it be seen in your discipline, in your integrity, in your ability to keep going, even when the world tells you to stop. Because anyone can shine for a moment, but not everyone can be a lighthouse, be the one who doesn't just light up for applause, be the one who stays lit even in the storm. Your ambition is a lighthouse. Let it stand tall, let it shine far, let it guide you home. There's a voice inside you that's been trying to be heard for a long time. A voice that doesn't whisper but roars. A voice that wants to say what it means, wants to claim its space, wants to be seen, felt, respected. But somewhere along the way, someone told you to quiet it down, to tone it down, to not be so much. And maybe for a while you listened. Maybe you started lowering your volume, shrinking your dreams, softening your presence, just to be accepted, just to be liked, just to avoid making waves. But deep down you know that silence has never suited you, playing small has never felt right, and that's because you weren't born to be quiet. You were born to be loud, big, and unapologetic. It's not arrogance to own your power. It's not ego to speak your truth. It's not rude to take up space. We live in a world that teaches people, especially women, especially people of color, especially those who don't fit the mold, to be grateful just to be included. To be quiet so others can be comfortable, to be humble, not confident, but there is nothing noble about making yourself invisible so others can shine. Your light doesn't dim anyone else's. In fact, it gives others permission to light up too. Staying loud means you don't mute yourself to make others feel safe. It means you speak up when something matters to you. It means your voice doesn't need to be filtered through approval or fear. You don't ask, is this too bold? You ask, is this true to me? You stop second, guessing yourself in conversations, in decisions, in rooms you've earned your place in. You stop apologizing for your energy, your presence, your opinions. You start trusting that you have every right to be exactly who you are, without explanation, without editing, without apology. And staying big, that's not about ego or showmanship. It's about living in your fullness. It's about not shrinking your dreams so they make sense to other people. It's about not breaking yourself into bite-sized pieces just to be easier to swallow. You were never meant to fit into small ideas of what you should be. You were never meant to settle into someone else's comfort zone. Staying big means dreaming beyond your background. It means showing up fully, not halfway. It means letting your ambition be as expansive as your courage will allow. When you stay big, you intimidate people who are still trying to be small, and that's okay. You're not here to be palatable. You're not here to make everyone like you. You're here to make an impact. You're here to shift rooms just by being in them. You're here to show others what's possible when you stop playing by outdated rules and start building your own. The world doesn't need more people who know how to stay quiet. The world needs more people who are brave enough to be fully themselves. But the most important piece of this is staying unapologetic. That's the real magic. Because you can be loud and bold and big, but if you're still asking for permission to be that way, you're still holding back. Being unapologetic is about choosing yourself, again and again, no matter who disapproves. It's about standing in your truth even when your voice shakes. It's about being so rooted in your purpose, your values, your vision, that the noise of other people's opinions doesn't shake your foundation. You don't owe anyone an apology for being successful, or confident, or emotional, or ambitious, or different. You don't owe anyone an explanation for the way you walk, the way you speak, the way you lead, the way you shine. You don't have to make yourself smaller to make others comfortable. Their discomfort is not your responsibility. Will it be easy? No. Staying loud, big, and unapologetic comes with resistance. People will call you names. They'll say you're too much. They'll label you aggressive when you're assertive, dramatic when you're passionate, arrogant when you're self-assured. They'll try to cut you down to a version of you they can manage. But here's the truth. Being too much for the wrong people means you're finally being enough for yourself. So don't silence yourself. Don't shrink for anyone. Don't explain your light to people committed to living in the dark. Stand tall in who you are, speak boldly about what you believe in, dream wildly about what you can create, and never, ever apologize for the size of your spirit. This world will try to tame you. It will try to teach you that survival means obedience. But you didn't come here just to survive. You came here to rise. You came here to disrupt, to elevate, to inspire, and you can't do that from a place of silence or smallness. Stay loud in your truth. Stay big in your purpose. Stay unapologetic in your presence, not just for yourself, but for everyone watching you, learning from you, and finding their own courage through your example. Because when you rise boldly, you give others the courage to rise too.